What's going on, everybody? It's Ash from TCG Discussions, coming at you with a discussion video today about the meta. I haven't been able to make a video for a couple weeks. I've been super busy with work and school, but things are finally about to actually die down and get back into routine. So look forward to content coming again regularly shortly. There's lots of deck profiles on my brain. I actually just recently acquired a collection from somebody, and they had several decks that I'm looking at testing going into the future format. And I just kind of want to talk about where the state of the game is, color-wise, deck-wise, after the ban list. So first things first to note, we'll start with blue. Top two blue decks that I'm looking at right now being Soul Striker and SS4, Vegeta. And I think both of these decks are primed to be in the top position for blue going forward. I don't think anything coming out set 16 is really going to offer us anything. Set 16 is so far away, which is one of the reasons why I want to make this video, because it's going to be a while before we get new decks and new cards. So what can you be playing in your best ones? And I think that this is going to be very beneficial. But back to Soul Striker and SS4. They both took kind of a hit with Fu, but this is where SS4 got a little bit of buff and Soul Striker got a little bit of nerf. Soul Striker's kind of missing its for sure game ender on turn 6 with Fu Shot and Mystery being banned. Super ripped to that card because that's been one of my boss cards since its release. And the thing about it is that blue likes to drag the game on and then just play this card and then kill you with a bunch of pressure. And so missing that for sure you can't respond with anything piece is it's kind of problematic for a lot of control decks that want to take the game a little bit longer and then do stuff, right? So yep, kind of a rip in that department, but I still think that Soul Striker is extremely well positioned, especially the variant that I've been playing, because yeah, let's be honest, you're not doing a lot to it anyway. And then finally, SS4, I think, got a little bit of a buff here because it has alternate win conditions and the 6-drop, playing 2 or 3 energy, hatching them, and then tragedy overgrounding them, and then the game's kind of over. It does struggle against Soul Striker because Soul Striker is just more efficient at playing the game. Doesn't have bad super combos, I should say. You can play the Vegeta Discipline Warrior, but it's still not as strong as the Zeno because you can ramp something you don't want to, like your Hachiak, which hurts, and then it feels bad. So, yeah, it's kind of where I'm at. I think those two are just really good, but SS4 got a little bit stronger in the blue control department because of that. SS3 is kind of, yeah, it's a rough ride. And, there's just not really another blue deck that can really contend. I do think the Bojack leader gets a little bit better, but it remains to be seen. So, then moving on to the yellow decks. Yellow suffered a pretty big hit here. Helku got a little bit better. I think one thing that's actually honestly worth looking at is OG Mecha Frieza. This is something that I've kind of had on my radar for a minute since the Reboot 1 got banned. But overall, I think that Golden Frieza is just really good. So I expect to see that as the top yellow deck represented going forward. We'll see where people take that. I'm not sure if lists are going to vary very much, but a lot of people I do know are looking forward to the Zamasu Goku Black Wish Leader. So expect to see big things from that. I also think that an untapped resource is the Gohan that flips with field spells. I think that that's also a very strong deck for many reasons. It's a leader battle card aggression is kind of ridiculous, and it's just constantly untapping an energy and drawing cards and doing stuff like that. So I think that it's a pretty good positioned yellow deck. I just don't think it's as consistent or, resource management heavy as Golden Frieza is. So, whenever you can untap 2 energy a turn, draw a card, and draw 2 cards, it's kind of ridiculous. So, there's that. And then moving on to green. Green is got really good. And a lot of people, I just don't think give green enough credit here. I think that it's by far the furthest back than everyone really thinks. I think red's by far the weakest color, and I think still is. I know there's a lot of people playing King Piccolo again and stuff like that, but we'll get to red here in a bit. But green, I think that green no tanks got way better because everything kind of slowed down. And I think that also when you just look at the raw straight value you get out of playing Go Tanks, it's just really ridiculous. They get rid of Grim Reaper and they just you basically +3'd. And then if not, then it's just constant pressure that's generating value and combo in different ways. It's a deck that I actually got the pieces for, so look forward to a profile for that coming soon. It's on the way in the mail. And I think that starter deck Brawly and OG Brawly both got really good. Self Surge just was a very consistent deck and better for hand destruction, so these other decks may not have seen so much play and may not have been able to rise to the surface. But starter deck Brawly, and I'm gonna take a deck this week to locals, so if you watch this video, you know it already. I'm gonna play that deck as a hand destruction deck is ridiculous. People do not understand how strong it is. I think it's really slept on, and I think the reasons why people have justified that it's not good is Meki Kabura is good against it. Well, Meki Kabura is kind of a trash deck anyway, so I'm not saying it's bad, but the leader's hand generation straight loses to a number of SCRs in the game. Straight loses to a number of cards. I mean, green's dormant potential already just makes the leader minus effect super bad. While it's very consistent in generating card advantage, it's also simultaneously just not that great. I just don't think that it's that great. When you have to just constantly tap out for your boss cards, and you play against a deck that plays better boss cards for cheaper energy or does things that are more effective against you, it just feels kind of bad. So not really thinking that that's a strategy going forward that, you should bank on doing. And I think that green Brawly specifically is a super, super strong deck. It's one that I think that everybody should be taking a look at going forward. If not Go Tanks, but one of those 2 decks, just super, super strong. And then, some people have mentioned Boo, but OG Brawly, right? I also want to kind of talk about this for a second. OG Brawly is a hyper consistent deck that can just play an assortment of really strong hand destruction cards. And I have a deck idea coming again soon that you guys will see. I think that really just makes green Brawly rise up, and kind of carries a number of cards to play that the green has to offer that just really does a good service to hand destruction still. So I don't think hand destruction is gone by any means. I think if you think it's gone, then hand destruction is going to have winning a tournament, and everyone's really, yeah, we need to burn original hand again. Why did we ever not play that card in our side? Moving on to black, and actually I'm going to say black first. We're going to move on to red. Red's just terrible, all around. Best red deck is Red Brawly. Not close, because basically you can just straight trample your opponent on good hands, period, and you're just winning most of your games with not a whole lot that your opponent can do to answer it. DMS is not a good answer because Piccolo Jr. just kills the card instantly, and there's just a number of things that you can do that really it just feels bad, right? If you're you're playing Soul Striker and you play against Red Brawly, you auto die. If you're playing blue in general, you just kind of auto die Red Raleigh. But I mean, there's just colors that it starkly beats. And because of that, it feels completely terrible. Moving on to black. Black, although its top deck got nerfed quite a bit, and the biggest hits to it, I would say, are the trunks that I now kind of have to admit is kind of a stronger hit than I gave credit for. Losing the ability to play that Smoke Dragon, and lastly, just the True Fighting Spirit becoming unique. It really does kind of constrict the deck in a lot of ways. I didn't downplay the trunks. I thought it was a really stupid hit, but it is kind of noticeable that you don't have that overwhelm to get your pieces back out, so you're not having to mill as much off the top of your deck. Now it's like you're kind of forced to a lot more, so it feels kind of bad in that regard. Other than that, it's relatively like a normal day. So I don't know, we'll see where Gogeta Xeno lands. A lot of people are saying it's still best black deck. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that it's now way more open to like Black Mass Saiyan, Hatchiyack, and Vegeks. Vegeks is probably the deck that I'm looking forward to working with the most. I plan on ordering the pieces here soon, and taking that to locals and seeing what I can do with it. I have a couple ideas. I have a thwarting build, a skillless build, and a like regular OG Vegeks line build that I'm interested in trying to pursue. So we'll see where that goes. And lastly, talk about Hatchiyack. Hatchiyack only got better because blue mildly got nerfed. And I think that Hatch as a control deck is super strong. Of course, blue is still its bane. So as long as like Soul Striker, Zamasu, and SS4 Vegeta around, feels kind of bad. So there's that. And then lastly, when it comes to black, I think that we just have this weird like interim when we're waiting for like Super Saiyan God Trunks to see what that offers black. Like looking ahead, I think that's probably going to be better than Gogeta Xeno. So we'll see. We'll have to see. But I think that a lot of the other decks, like Dark Brawly, got a little bit better because Gogeta Xeno got nerfed. As far as like competing for a top black deck, although I will say this, Dark Brawly in the best of one format where you can pre-side makes that deck way worse. Like it's so bad now that I think that they almost have to do something to help make the leader relevant again, because there's just no sustainability. Yellow, for example, will just auto side Vegeta, Yosin, and Fury, and you can't play. And I didn't really talk about this as one of the decks that got better. It got better because Fu got banned, and that's Sen Shenron, so I'll touch on that for a second. Sen Shenron, I think is a really strong deck going forward as well, because it just lost its, like, the game just lost its number one enemy. So public enemy number one was removed. Sen Shenron is going to be really strong. But back to black, Dark Brawly is really terrible in that format because your opponent can just now bring in all the cards that they need to, trash you in the side. But, Vegeks, Dark Black Mass Saiyan, Gohan, SS4 Goku, and Hatchiyack, I think they're all going to be great picks. Super Saiyan God Trunks is going to be a great pick. I still think Gogeta Xeno is a great pick, even though I think it's nerfed in a lot of ways. I think that there are now other decks you can play. So we'll see. We'll just definitely have to see where it goes. And Kai. Kai, I think, is also one of the decks that just sneakily got a little bit better. But Hatchiyack still just is really strong against it. So we'll have to see. And then, that's just pretty much like the meta to me encapsulated in a nutshell. I don't see set 16 as being as impactful as a lot of people think that it will. Red U7 looks pretty good. I think that it might help a little bit for red, but I don't think it's going to overall change red's standing, because red's problems don't stem from good strategies. It stems from energy resource management and overall just like gameplay that's meh. Like, if you play starter Vegeta, for example, and you play the good Bardock's Crew engine, which I think is great in that deck, you just die, right, to like Secret ID. You just lose to mass board removal. Kai just completely shuts your whole game plan down. They remove the 5-drop. If they have barrier removal, it's a rip. Your floodgates aren't really all that great. And it feels bad. It feels real bad. And that's probably like the top red deck in my opinion. King Piccolo, same thing, right? Like, not really going to be doing much because Koitsukai is now affordable to everybody. All the black decks that are mill decks are just going to like main 2 or 3 of them anyway, and then you're plumb out of luck. And then, there's just Kai and Hatch and all these other things, and you start at 6 life and it's like, it just feels like, not really sure why King Piccolo's seeing success. But the drum hit, it really should have kept a lot of things in check, but it didn't. Jiren got a little bit stronger. Jiren as a red deck is really good, but the problem is it's got a high skill curve. I don't think a lot of people who don't have that like chess mind mentality can't really handle playing Jiren well at a high level. So we'll see. Set 16 is definitely going to shake some things up, I think. I think that we were getting at least 3 strong leaders. 4, if you include the yellow Trunks, kind of left that one sleeping a little bit on the yellow department. But, with Trunks, the new Goku Black, you got Super Saiyan God, Trunks, and then you've got the red UI Goku. I think that, it could be looking at something. So a few decks to shake up the meta, and I'm looking forward to those additions. So let me know in the comment section down below decks that you guys think are strong, going to be good. I'm looking forward to bringing some of my new decks to locals, so beware. If you have played me, you've pretty much known that we fine-tuned some stuff, and it's going to be degenerate, as always. And if not, I look forward to giving you the hot surprise at locals. And same thing for those of you who aren't there, but you are subscribed and watching. Thank you for sticking with me and watching my content. I'm going to be uploading a lot more often here very soon. And I will see you guys in the next one. Give me your thoughts on the meta and what you think is good for each color. And I look forward to reading them. Thank you for watching, and this is Awesome TCG Discussion signing off. See you guys next time. Later.